Okay. I think it's going. So, let's go here, and here, and then here. Alright. Welcome! Okay. I think everything is up and running. Let me get my tabs back, and we can check in with that. Happy Sunday Fun Day. How's people's weekends going? Welcome. Let me get organized. Streams there. Stream chat. Stream chat is here. Cool. Welcome. Dun. Make sure things are looking good from the other side. Through the power of cell phone technology. And then I can have nice ease of mind that we're rolling. Cool, live. Cool. Live. Correct. Happy Sunday, everyone. We're here to talk serious news, serious coverage. To help us get through that, we're gonna do it with optimism and celebration of the efforts people are making. And taking a look at the bigger picture of the changes people are asking for and are on the table, and how do we make a transition happen. That's the thing that scientists and a lot of people agree on, is that a transition needs to happen at some point. But for some, they're more okay waiting 20, 30 years, not thinking it's as serious right now. And on the flip side, the fact that we're getting to some of these conclusions nowadays, when there's been scientists saying things for 40, 50 years. But on the flip side, people urging for the transition to be much quicker. And not only is that good for our planet and our environment, but our communities, our workforce, and people in general. So that's what we're here today to do. This is one event of many across U.S., across Colorado, and we're here to see what people are up to this weekend, calling for Biden to step into those values and say no to pipelines, say no to further investment into fossil fuel infrastructure, and calling for a much bigger push. We will get into, I like half laughing at this music kind of in the background. Here, how about this one? Okay. And so I want to start off with the celebration side of things. What were some of the events people were up to this weekend? Let's poke around social media, check out some of the different videos and pictures. Because I was an event organizer with this virtual event, also have folders that people are adding to, and so we'll have some of the pictures not even shown to social media yet as well. We're gonna look at Colorado, and then we're gonna look at the nation. and talk a little bit more about what a transition can look like, because um, sometimes organizations and companies will want to speak for activists and put things, step in and put their own words to what is trying to accomplish. We saw this with Green New Deal. We saw this when people started claiming that we were going to ban all cows, so we don't need to like invest in a cleaner society. And so taking the time to lay out what a fair transition looks like, which is what the community of change makers want, which is something that provides jobs and a transition, and more holistic, well-rounded support in changing things. So we'll do some laying out of that and talking about resilience and active hope in pushing for these changes, because as we will see, a lot of times that the element of change happens really slowly, because there's a lot of structural power and capitalistic power on the side of current industries rather than future potential industries or infrastructure. So we're gonna pause this music for a while. I grabbed some copyright-free music, as you have to do when you're streaming, and it's like a copyright-free Animal Crossing-esque album, which is funny, but some of them have very cartoony vibes for what is considered, I guess, more serious of topics. So let's, I guess, balance that out a little bit, and we'll just talk about things for here for a little bit. I'm not seeing anyone. Okay, we've had a few people pop in, so welcome. We're about to switch over to looking at pictures from different events this weekend, and we can switch over now, I think, to our different overlay, and we need to update this agenda. This is from our other stream, and we'll get this set up for right now so that you have a sense of what I just ran through as the flow of how the stream's gonna go. And also you can see here that we're gonna be getting into looking at things together. I have somewhat here. I can just copy paste the agenda. And then we click this. We can say intro and hellos. We're kind of doing these two right now, so I'm just going to remove them. Share pictures with Colorado context. I have to do this. Look at national pictures. Mention Youth vs. Gov. Youth vs. Gov. Active hope and resiliency. Share ongoings and projects. Okay, sounds like a good agenda. And then we will fit it into the square. All right, cool. Share, we're gonna get that so it fits in just a little better. I'm gonna change this color. What's a good Earth Day celebration color? Green, I think. Oh, you can't really see that one well. Let's go like dark green. And then we're gonna go share pictures. Share pictures. Okay. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna, let's start with looking around social media as to what we see posted using some of the hashtags I can also start by showing you the action map of the 50 plus um, uh, I think it actually ended up being like 49. It was right around 50 um, different actions that were put on this weekend as part of this people versus fossil fuels and ending the era of fossil fuels. Um, I've heard about this about 6 or so weeks ago, and then started thinking about how I could participate. I know there's some local actions, and I even went to one. But I also then thought, what other way could I share? And by streaming and putting together video, I could do that. I want to switch into my community driven Instagram. That way we can just navigate from that one. Um, and start off. Okay. And then my other tab is over here. Perfect. Where did the map go? Huh. Let's pull it up from this document. I have it here somewhere. My apologies. If my viewers are still there. Nice thing about also recording these and having the recording of these is being able to chop them up into smaller videos later, and cut out some of this. But where is... Huh. There it is. Okay. Okay. So here is the map of all the different actions um, going on from across the U.S. It was mostly a U.S. thing. I'm curious what's out here. This is urgent solidarity demand in the Philippines. Or does that just happen to be there? That one's tomorrow. That one we can still make. Native Lives Matter Great Lakes. But why is it on the Philippines? Okay. See, this is what happens. I had the map, but I can't go back because I clicked on one. What is this shenanigans? I thought I was going crazy, but I just can't go back once you click one. Okay, I'm just gonna copy. We're just gonna Control C. Fascinating. Okay, the U.S. Looking over here. Look at all those different events for June 8th through 11th. Relative frame for people versus fossil fuel actions. I think this was a national push through a number of different organizations. If we scroll down here, from People's Fossil Fuels, Climate Defenders, Fridays for Future, 350 Network Council, Center for Biological Diversity, and CPD Action. helping go through their networks and across their expertise of leaders in those organizations, um, asking Biden to end the era of fossil fuels. And this is partly in response to approval of additional pipelines and infrastructure to move fossil fuels around. Um, when we're already the biggest producer of oil and gas, we subsidize it heavily, and yet we see this um, interest um, in our populace to change that. But at the same time, there's a big structural pushback, and at the highest levels, the decisions being made um, sometimes even go back on the word that they previously put out there. And so one of the ways to try to showcase that people are still watching and want differently is to put together actions and media and organize with others. And across different organizations, we just have a lot more organizing power to reverberate out our message and both um, grow the movement and help share the message with um, other people what's going on, and then ideally get decision makers to reconsider what they are up to and their plans. Um, and oftentimes it's to consider marginalized communities and disadvantaged communities um, who have had land taken away, have had um, this climate future thrust upon them, not by their own decisions, but by because of the eras growing up in. And I think that's like one of the biggest things that is there's just disconnect between a lot more of the advantaged, older, wealthy decision makers in a lot of these spaces and the actual communities out there. So you see this map full of different events that happened this weekend. Um, it's time to declare a climate emergency, climate strike to end the era of fossil fuels, urgent solidarity demand to shut down Line 5. And if we zoom in here on Colorado, we see a number of different events pop up as the 350 Colorado team helped get out the message around this campaign and put together some big goals, but some possible goals about the number of events and pledges we were trying to get. And um, another reason for this organizing around Colorado is Colorado, I think, really is and can be even bigger leader here in the U.S. We have some amazing organizers, politicians. We have businesses and innovators, and we're centered here kind of in the middle of the continental US, but also um, at a very important resource of the Colorado River and um, the Rocky Mountains. And so it's awesome to see that, and I believe in that. And we're up to some stuff alongside this to also move forward Colorado campaigns while we make this bigger national uh, ask to Biden and Democrats and politicians, but mostly Democrats as more willing to work on climate change things. At least by the numbers. Okay, so um, let's see who are organizing some of these events to see if we can find Pictures from the day and shares from the day. And we're going to move over here. And tune in to Instagram, where let's see. And I have a list of different hashtags that we can look through as well. So let me pull that up. Hashtag. It's not going to be that one. So it's probably on this one. Oh yeah, and then I have a document to read as well. Okay. We'll start with this document as it sets the framework in context of what we're asking for and brings it into... Here, I can do this. I can delete that and delete that and put that there. And then we can click this button, I believe. And we can get a little bit of 2 screens going. Yay! Okay. Okay. So, June 10th, day of action. It's a weekend of action, so, but this is a statement of purpose, and I think it's awesome to read this. Some love and thought was put into drafting this, and there are many people who signed on. So this is, I think, a good place to start. And I will read this. So, hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out today for this fun event. Are y'all having fun? For this fun event and this very important cause. My name is Braden, and I am an organizer who loves the planet, loves people, and wants to protect that for 7 generations plus. And so I got involved with climate organizing, but just organizing in general, because I think politics and policy can be the biggest leverage point for making that change. And all we got to do is bring people together to get it done. And yeah, phasing out fracking, I think, is part of moving away from this dependency and putting resources and money towards fossil fuels. And we can do things differently. It just takes some imagination and leadership and willingness to go through the process. So I want to thank everyone who's watching, everyone who did an event this weekend across Colorado and the U.S., and the support I got from some of the organizers to have some of the resources. And a lot of what I'm doing is just covering awesome things that other people have done. So I am very excited and grateful to be with you all today as part of our nationwide weekend of actions to call on our leaders at all levels of government, from President Biden to Governor Polis to our state and county leaders, to align with what climate scientists around the world are telling us we must do to protect a safe and livable climate, and that it is to phase out fossil fuel development, There are over 50 actions happening across the nation this weekend with this message. Here in Colorado, people are gathering for 12 actions across the state to call for a phase out of fracking in Colorado by 2030. Yay! Oil and gas fracking is our state's #1 source of pollution, causing the climate crisis and the severe ozone air quality issues along the Front Range. Fracking is a heavy industrial practice that is well documented to be harmful to public health, releasing toxic emissions that cause cancer and ruin air quality, and permanently destroying 5 to 10 millions of gallons of fresh water for every well. There are already over 55,000 wells producing fracked wells across Colorado, and over 50,000 others that could be refracked. Coloradans' air, water, and land is being ruined so oil and gas companies can profit, exporting out of our state about 90% of the oil and 70% of the gas that they produce here. The fracking industry is only 3.3% of Colorado's economy and less than 1% of Colorado jobs. It is time to protect our land, air, and water and make sure we build stronger economy for the future. So we're urging everyone today to pledge to sign the petitions, to place a measure on the 2024 statewide ballot to phase out new fracking permits by 2030 and help the communities and workers most impacted. Then invite friends and family to join you in pledging and be entered into a prize drawing. We'll need 125,000 signatures next year to place this measure on the statewide ballot. So gathering pledges now will allow us to contact you when the petitions are ready to sign and greatly increase the campaign's chance of success. So if you haven't yet, please pull out your smartphones and go to safeandhealthyco.org. Now to fill out the pledge to sign form. Then share with your networks. Thank you again so much for being here today and supporting the transition from fracking to a clean energy future and a safe and healthy Colorado. Thank you. Okay, and then we have statewide co-hosts. This is one of my favorite parts of like coalition-led events. Is when like it's well thought out and articulated, and you get a bunch of different organizations behind you, and then you can just see the like list of support. We have Safe and Healthy Colorado, Clean Energy Action, Colorado Coalition for a Livable Climate, Cultivando, Empower Our Future, Green Faith, Green Latinos, PSR Colorado, Physicians for Social Responsibility, Rocky Mountain Peace and Justice Center, Third Act Union Colorado, Unite North Metro Denver. And local co-hosts, Center for Biological Diversity, Commune, Erie Protectors, First Congressional Church of Boulder, Fort Collins Sustainability Group, Green Faith Boulder County, Mental Health and Inclusion Ministries, Save the Aurora Reservoir, Together Against Neighborhood Drilling, Sustainable Windsor, 350 Youth Action Committee, 350 Boulder County, 350 Colorado Springs, 350 Denver Metro, 350 Northern Colorado, 350 Roaring Fork. So thank you to all those groups, and if you go here to safeandhealthycolorado.org, you can see where you can pledge to sign the petition today. You can take action by sharing and see all those endorsements coming together there on that tab. So turning back to, let's go look at some of what was shared by some of these groups today. And I can also get the folder with some of the images. Some of these events might not have posts together yet, but that doesn't mean we can't celebrate. So let's look at some of what people were up to. This is from the Boulder event, so let's go here. And then we can zoom in. Oh, let's go back and watch that again with music. We'll watch it again with music. Don't. Don't you worry. Okay. Music, I think, always livens up an event. Um, Music, art, laughter, community, all these things that I think showcase the people power side of things. Um, and what is different than the voices on the other side. That is the event you're at right now. Um, I'm gonna pause. Okay. We're already in worsening comments, so can I open this in a new tab? See post. Okay. That was a no on opening it in a new tab. What if I do this? Okay. Let's walk through them and then we'll go back through and I'll pick a few to look at further. So so much going on in Pueblo right now. Pause. Pause. Um, so much going on in Pueblo right now related to environmental justice. Major shout out to our friends at Mothers Out Front Colorado for all that they do. June Climate Action Call, June 15th, 4:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Join us for an empowering virtual gathering. More from our phase out fracking action party outside the Boulder County Courthouse. That is some epic music. And dancing and dressed to dance in. Or skirt, I guess. That does look fun. Jam out. Greenpeace USA. What if instead of doing East Coast versus West Coast discourse about these wildfires, we did all of us versus fossil fuel companies? Yeah. Y'all. Denver Post. Suncor's Colorado refinery. I saw this the other day. Records more malfunctions than comparable facilities. EPA study finds. People watching, you might not know this, but Denver has like the most polluted zip code out there in the Commerce City area. Something about like being up against the mountains, and refinery area being right. We can even find it. Um, um, there's just a lot of different manufacturing companies, diesel trucks meets oil refinery, and Suncor has problems. It's an old refinery. We're refining and creating different pollutant gases and just putting them out into the Denver area. Um, and then this report just recently come out that it's not as operationally safe and secure as other um, refineries. And honestly, I think why is that even doing here in the main city center? We could repurpose that for much better, I think, economic engines, and that's something we'll get to here in a bit. Is what does designing a transition look like? Because we got to think about the 1% of jobs and then like the 3% of income that is here in Colorado that we would need to transition um, and make up for. I mean, yes, that is the typical status like quote look way of looking at it. that you would need to engage with to convince decision makers to change is laying out the vision. Um, I don't think like endless growth is like truly unattainable, but that doesn't mean we can't have like managed smart growth. And I would love to see some more like holistic circular designs so that um, we can build up to a point where people are are more supported and we're polluting less. That's me. Thank you, whoever shared that. Um, oh, and awesome. This was like on our agenda, Youth First Gov, right there. Um, I can go into this more. Can I? Is this something I can click? Yeah. Okay. We'll go into this more after we look at some pictures. I think it's one of the more exciting things happening in this climate space right now in terms of avenues to getting government to take things seriously and using one of our main branches of government to make that case. And I'm excited that we're going to be able to make that case, or at least the team is, because the government's ducking, diving, and dipping on bringing this to the court system for so long now. So I'm excited for the Youth v Gov team and excited to cover and tune into this as it happens here. It's like starts any day, doesn't it? Beginning Monday, so beginning tomorrow. Well, that's exciting. Wow. Okay, so we live from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day of the trial, June 12th to 16th and June 19th to 23rd. So make plans. That's a lot of plans, but I'm excited to tune in. We'll also have a big button that you can press to begin watching trial proceedings live, as well as daily updates, photos, videos, and info on how you to attend the trial in person. Climate trial. Be sure to bookmark this page as well. Okay. Stop Cop City update tomorrow too. A lot of exciting updates. A lot of energy in the activism space, which is exciting and to be celebrated. Latina-led Power Summit, June 24th, Denver, Colorado, Aurora campus. Awesome. Okay. Any of those we want to look back through? I have been avoiding looking at. Speaking of the Colorado of chat. Hi Ron. Hi, if you're still there. Hi from the future if you're not. I'm new to streaming. I forgot to look at chat. Okay, speaking of the Colorado River, a campaign begun by the Center for Biodiversity, RE, a proposed new section of a railway that would bring 10 oil trains, 110 tanker cars. It says continued. A proposed new section. How do I look at the full comment? Hey, Ron. Your previous text, it just says it ends at that would bring 10 oil trains, 110 tanker cars, and then it says continued, but I can't see the rest. Or maybe that's how you ended it. But I mean, yeah, the Colorado River is super important, and I wish that like we took better care of, and thinking about water more intentionally um, than we are right now, because that's like one of the worst parts about fracking, um, up there with its effects on air, is what we're doing with water. And also, whenever a big oil spill happens, or um, a tanker truck or a train um, crashes, like, it's often, yeah, our natural resources that take the brunt of that. Okay, so 350 Colorado on social media. Um, what other pages? Let's go look through some of these hashtags. I don't know if we'll find stories that way, but we will see if anyone's made posts yet. So the first main hashtag is phase out fracking 2030. And I think some of these will be Colorado based and some of these will be national based. Um, and so these ones are ones leading up to the event, which makes sense. I feel like some of these similar ones will be people versus fossil fuels. Let's try this one. Okay, top posts. Can I on the browser app do most recent? I can. Okay, let's look through some of these. Thank you to everyone who joined us today to man an end to the era of fossil fuels. It is so inspiring to see people come together to share ideas, build community, and fight for a better world. Your voices have been heard, and your actions have made a difference. These are some of the art signs, and then this is one that they made. June 9th, people versus fossil fuels. Thank you all for showing up. Let's look at this one. Pop-up protest. The Capitol Police were only minutes behind us. LOL. 350 Wisconsin. And then there's some Madison art. Member Rashida Tlaib speaks before climate activists gather in front of the White House as they prepare for the mass symbolic arrests, June 8th, 2023. So I think this was the big thing that the national organizers were working towards, was a June 8th action. It's awesome that Representative Tlaib spoke at the event. Let's focus in really quick, I think, though, on Colorado. And this is some of the art. Some of the arts and posts leading up. No more handouts for the fossil fuel industry. Hell no, Joe's. Yes, Joe Manchin. Hell no. It's not cool for you and your family to own and profit off coal industry and also, fight climate legislation. That's not cool. And it's a lot messed up. Let's be real. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I have some pictures. I was at an event yesterday. I was at the Denver event at the Capitol, so I can also grab my pictures from the other day and add them. And I even recorded some of the improv comedy, which was I'd never really seen at an event in action before, and I wasn't sure how climate crises plus improv comedy would mix. It's kind of like an interesting tango. Like, on one hand, laughter, and being able to reframe the issue um, is awesome. And on the other hand, it is like a serious topic, but it actually was fun. It was lots of fun. Let's look through some more of the Boulder events images here. And let's see if I can get a good one to start it. Oh, wow. That one's awesome. Okay. Let's zoom back in on Boulder. Let's highlight some of what they were up to at this phase out fracking action party. Um, this is they got together for their photo op, um, and shows a lot of the support of people that were there. And let's flip through. I know they were doing art and playing music, dancing. I think I have something similar to that. Music, good times, guitar, and then there were speeches as well, I believe. Art, tattoos. It's awesome to see. It looks like lots of fun. Um, and happy to see that. Happy to see some of my favorite organizers and friends out there. Great job taking like pictures and getting people out too. It looks like it was a beautiful time and day. Weather doesn't look like it was an issue at all, which is awesome. I saw this map at the Denver event. So I think it's 55,000 producing wells that each use 5 to 10 million gallons of water. That's pretty crazy. And the majority of that gets shipped and sold, and we don't even use it for ourselves or to have cheap gas in our own infrastructure. We sell it off so that these companies can make record amounts of profits for their shareholders and their CEOs and their management jobs. And I'm sure the people putting in these wells get paid decently, but nothing is, I think, as nearly as high as their management and their shareholders do, while also working extremely difficult, challenging jobs that are dangerous, and it's hurting our collective future. And right now, if we were to switch off of it, it would cause a lot of disruption. That doesn't mean, though, that we can't put together a really solid plan for getting off of them and building the infrastructure to make the transportation and the cars and the infrastructure and the grid to get energy throughout, and then why we transition have fossil fuels as a backup. Internal temperature too high. Camera. While you cool down, camera, it is toasty in here. I can agree Weird. Okay. That's my sorry. My audio's being weird and it's hard to troubleshoot why it did what it did, but I assumed um it yeah, I think it's working right now though from my levels. And so it continues and we'll switch it back after another 5 minutes. It only takes a few minutes for the camera to cool down. Okay. And I'm pretty sure I was done with my thought. I don't fully remember if I had anything else to say. Um, I think the fracking industry um, has been getting away with way too long of like kind of concealing its process, not having to tell people what's in the the fluids and kind of how much water it is making no longer drinkable. On top of a number of things like getting methane measurements um, and all these other aspects just so that they can um, make a bunch of money. Um, I think we should start making the transition away to other infrastructures and really thinking through um, how much we need to be hurting our own future um, for short-term profits. Um, this reminds me of one of those like parachutes that you can play games with. I don't know if that's the purpose of this, but huge nostalgia for elementary school and playing games, running around under huge like like not pinata, but like parachutes. I think that's what they're called. Hanging out under huge pinatas would also be cool. That's just a very different thing. Um, it's awesome that you had multiple different musicians and um, musical artists come out. I think that's really cool to include many different artists' voices and seeing that interest. Um, some more posters, handouts. Um, One thing I want to do was make sure that the pledge link um, was easily available. So let me grab that when I get a chance. And some other local speakers. Cool beans. Okay. You probably can't hear that, but it's starting to thunderstorm. Uh, that is the May June vibe. We get rainstorms and thunderstorms. Though I'm happy none of the events I knew of got canceled by that. Um, let's see if I can find 350 Youth Committee. 350 Colorado Youth. The Youth Action Committee, or YAC, was putting on a few different events. They have an awesome Pride logo. Shout outs to the YAC member who put that together. Um, and speak of. Okay, this is Fridays for the Future, Colorado Springs. Awesome. I wonder if Fridays for the Future pages have any posts too. Okay. So some groups haven't put up their pictures yet. It's the weekend. I, if I was more organized, I would have had reached out to some of the event organizers to gather and let them know I was doing this event. I had it kind of out there and had it posted, but that doesn't mean I was touching base with all the different local organizers. And that's one thing I can do to improve if I'm doing like a recap, especially with such a quick turnaround. What about Fridays for Future Denver? I want to say we have a few different Fridays for Future Denver. Okay. And then let's see what Fridays for Future USA. MVP, fossil fuel handout. Okay, and there is no stories following. Okay. Hold on one sec while I pull this over. And I actually think I can turn this back on. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we are back with the main camera. And then we can put me in the corner. So let's check in briefly and see kind of what we've taken in. And while I do that, I just want to share the Denver, because I took photos, I have some stuff to show. Let me pull those up really quick. Okay. And so this one was from LOL. LOL, bear with me. Okay. From the Denver action that had improv comedy. And so I was there for a skit, and I think we can watch this together. I think this will come through decently well. Oh, not that clip.
Hey, just because I'm a boomer doesn't mean you gotta boo me.
No, that was really clever.
I know. I'm your mom. I know things, okay?
I wish you would just apply that wit to something practical, like getting us out of this situation.
Oh no!
So this
Your
is like a
dad's
skit.
home. Oh, he does this every hurricane.
Hey!
I'm testing you for when the real thing really happens.
Oh, Harry, every year we gotta go through the tornado, Harry, hurricane, Harry.
Tsunami, Harry?
Tsunami?
Was
That
this
was
just
awful.
you spitting out saliva?
Well, I have an overproduction of saliva, okay? You don't need to make me feel bad about it.
So they're like walking through a skit
Maybe this family just
around climate disaster, which I think was,
I'm actually okay
yeah,
with
just a
that,
topic
too.
that came up.
I think it's a good idea. We should get back to the Earth.
And then what happens is they have a script,
On attitude that got my
or not a script, but then they go through the scene again, but through a different lens of time or situation. And so this is. Oh, I didn't get this. Get it? This. Oh, here it is actually. So this is the same scene about an odd family prepping for climate disaster, but through the lens of a spaghetti western.
Well, what can I do? I'm just a woman in the 1800s.
Well, that is a mighty limitation, I will have to
I know. So what can I do? I just gotta wait for a sheriff to come in.
Well, it's that since not waiting, someone else is gonna come in and put my kid in this whole mess.
It's me. Dust Bowl. The Dust Bowl. Thank you.
Oh, the baddest outlaw in all the town, not the Dust Bowl.
That's right.
We have to do this every year. Dust Bowl is either Dust Bowl or Tumbleweed or
Spurs.
Well, you know me. I gotta keep testing you to make sure you're ready when the real thing happens. You know what?
When you really are gonna rob us?
Yeah, it's Dust Bowl.
It's Dust Bowl.
I'm beginning to think this whole county is Dust Bowl.
I'm okay with it, honestly.
Okay. So this is just one thing. They did the scene again through like Victorian era lens. There was a number of improv games. These were the only 2 clips I got. And it was pretty funny. I enjoyed it. It definitely livened. It was good to laugh. It was awesome to see people's imaginations and creativity. That's one of the parts I love about improv, and I liked it. I've been skeptical in the past about like stand-up comedy when it comes to like climate change, and I think you can do it well. And it's good to laugh. So I approve. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed catching up with different people. And it was a beautiful day. No rain that time. And that one was the Denver improv show, laugh track comedy, and phase out fracking 2030. They were there for a while. I had to run to an event in the evening. So I've been just like running from thing to thing over the weekend. But I was happy I showed up and that there was a number of things going on across Colorado. And this all kind of like ties into, so there's a Roaring Fork Valley Chalk and Talk event. There was a Colorado Springs End the Era Fossil Fuels Action. And they were talking to people at Pride. Durango had a high school green team art action. And I think northern Colorado, Larimer County had an event. Weld County had an event. Lafayette. This one's the one we're doing. Lowry Cap Frack Info Day. I was trying to see if some of these pages had more info. State of Aurora Reservoir, group of Southeast Aurora residents. Okay, it's their. Yeah, we shouldn't be fracking around Aurora, or around reservoirs, around water reserves. It is insane that has put up some of these things that are like, companies come in, they're like, well, it can't be that hard to get different commissioners or work the land code or pass laws, and they do things for short-term capitalistic interests, and I get upset about that. That's my take and whatnot, and think we should be acting smarter than that. All this comes back to safe and healthy CO or Colorado.org. The big push for Colorado is coming up with a plan to make the transition happen and doing it in a fair and community driven way. Uh, um, and it takes a lot of action and signatures to move through the process. But I believe that Colorado is ready to lead on this, um, and that there are many people and organizations willing to come together, and there's enough time to make it happen. And so this plan is to phase out all new fracking permits by 2030, putting a timeline on transitioning into being reliant. And we're not even reliant. These are 3% of our economy and less than 1% of our jobs. So breaking free and transitioning that economic percentages and jobs into energy or education or tech. And when I say energy, obviously green energy, creating out and building out our grid infrastructure. While we work on our grid infrastructure, we can lay fiber cable and we can build out a more equitable system so that people in rural, suburban, and urban have clean air, clean water, access to technology and internet at the same levels, and have reliable systems for the summer and the winter and for getting around. So, pledge a sign. I don't know if I've pledged yet, so I shall pledge. And I think it's that easy. Thank you for your support. You're welcome. And this website has the benefits of phasing out fracking, informational facts about wages and parts of by the Colorado Fiscal Institute about the economic reality of fracking and other oil and gas operations here in Colorado. Cool. Any other pictures I see? I see there's this really awesome video that someone produced. And I wanna like share it. And it's in the public folder, right? I like okay. Here are go back. Or not. The Lafayette pictures. I like these. Protect our children's future. Everyone has the right to clean air, water, and health. That's cute. It's time. It's time to phase off. Phase off. No longer do we need to be phasing up. We need to be phasing off of fossil fuels. Thank you very much. Phase out fracking 2030. Not here, not anywhere. No fossil fuels. Kate. Hi, Kate. End the era Awesome. Let's see if there's any other of these folders that have photos in it. Folder, go back. Okay. And then I shared mine. I'm gonna play this video because I think it's awesome. And so there. Did I not switch that over? I meant to have this one on. Video. There. Streams. Okay. And then this needs to be there. All right. I might be sharing prematurely, but that is a stream perk. Sometimes you get things early, including. I hope it's not too loud. It's probably too loud. It's because I changed the setting after the improv. Right. What? It just disappeared on me. What the heck? There it is. Okay.
Little girl from New Orleans, little Liza Jane, sweetest little girl I ever seen, little Liza Jane. Oh, little Liza Jane. Oh, little Liza Jane. Oh, little Liza Jane. Oh, little Liza Jane.
A little bit tangential, but ultimately when it comes to fossil fuel, we have to tackle this issue at multiple fronts. It's not just one solution. We have to work on as many solutions as possible.
We really have to step up and break our dependence on oil and natural gas, and that's what this measure is all about. And this is really a very reasonable measure that's being proposed. It's phasing out new permits by 2030, and that 2030 dovetails nicely with that Excel goal of being 80% carbon free by 2030. And it also gives time for oil and gas workers to transition into all those clean energy jobs.
So awesome job, whoever put that together. It looks like Christian O'Rourke. And thank you to all the people who put on actions here in Colorado. I'm sure there's going to be some debriefs. I'm sure there's going to be some looking at like what went well for organizers. What does the momentum look like with the pledges and the new volunteers, and going from there. this is going to be something that ramps up as we push for getting this on the ballot for next year. And part of that is by signing this pledge, you sign up to be an easy one of the 100,000 plus signatures we need to kind of get here. I think it's 120,000. I have it on one of these tabs. And also, yeah, helping us then be able to take it to the ballot and decide as a state if this timeline makes sense and what kind of future do we want, and having a discussion around that, which I'm super excited to have alongside people. Let's look just briefly at some national pictures. I have the folder. Similarly, some of these actions have not uploaded their pictures yet, as this is something happening this weekend. But let's look. I know some of these do. But I think the quickest way is to do this. Okay. So Bay Area had a march and a gathering. I think they did a banner drop alongside a major highway. What does it say? Biden sacrifices APP or Appalachia. Biden sacrifices Appalachia. Biden, why you gotta do that? It's getting so toasty in here. I know it's summer, but this room's like 80 degrees. I need to turn on the AC next time. That's interesting art. And then I think they marched, and then that must be where they took their picture. Nice. It's like a gathering of people in art. It's awesome. So from California, to Chicago. Banks stop funding fossil fuels. Third Act, Illinois. Third Act is a labor movement group that is working on the climate issue now. Keep all fossil fuels in the earth. No more. No more. Keep the fossil fuels in the earth. No more. Okay. So from California to Chicago. Nice. Bring the music. I love that. Death to fossil fuels. Great gathering. Love all the art. Cool. She's got a puppy, stuffed animal puppy in the stroller. I wonder if there's the kids walking around. Cool. Chicago. I don't know if we've uploaded our pictures yet. No pictures from Denver yet. I could probably throw some in there. Last. Hawaii. Let's go Hawaii. No more blah blah. HDOT move us to zero emissions. Climate Emergency Act now. Stand with youth for a livable planet. Islands equal victims of climate disaster. Protect our future. So Hawaii, yeah, sea level rise. A difference of 10, yeah, a few feet. Um, I mean, Hawaii's beautiful. Let's get a move on. Montana. We support Montana youth making climate history. Youth Power Climate Trial. Oh, is this the courthouse where it's gonna happen? So Youth v Gov, the lawsuit is being seen in Montana's courts, um, and that picks up tomorrow. Nothing yet. Ooh, okay. Let's look at Marilee's pictures. Okay, they did it in. Okay, that's a good group of people.
Time's a wasting. Let's do it now. Can't you hear her crying? Can't you hear her call? Mother Earth is trying. Save her for the love of it all.
I almost got it. That's cool. I don't have the stomp down. That was cool. That was awesome. Yeah, yeah. Um, nice. I was gonna say Boulder probably so far had the coolest event, but that's pretty sweet. That's up there. What is this? Wisconsin? Madison, Wisconsin? I don't know my state abbreviations. Wisconsin. Okay. Madison, Wisconsin. Thank you, Marilee. Cool. And then that from a different perspective. Okay, awesome. Madison, Atlanta. DC. Okay, so we got a lot on DC. DC was one of the bigger, I think, pushes. So let's take a look. We rise, not just for you and me. Stop MVP. Ooh. People versus fossil fuels. Man, I've seen.
When our planet is under attack, what do? You're going to say, rise up, fight back, all right? When our planet is under attack, what do? When our planet is under attack, what do? When our home is under attack, what do?
Rise up, fight back.
When our home is under attack, what do?
That was only 4 seconds long.
Our earth is on fire! Put the fire out! Our world is on fire! Put the fire out!
I didn't get a chance to see. I was focusing more on Colorado stuff, so I don't know what was like on their agenda for the day. I saw, I think, in a post that they were gonna do like a mass sit-in, and we're potentially gonna get, because of where they were doing that, can potentially get arrested, to help bring attention to this. Youth speakers. Rashida Tlaib coming to speak. I gotta go turn my fan on. Fan! Okay, and let's also check in with our agenda. So, what do we have left? I want to circle back to Youth v Gov here in a minute, because I think it's one of the more exciting things happening, and I think just sharing out that message one more time and pulling up the posts, and that, yeah, I'm excited to check in with this trial, and I don't know how much of it I can like commit to, but if that's something that people want to watch more of, and look at together, I think I can create some space for that, even though have a little bit of a busy schedule right now. Then we have. I just want to talk a little bit about like active hope and like resiliency in climate space and where do I find it. Some of these events and actions, um, they can give us a lot of energy, but they can also be a lot of work and um, can be heavy topics at times. So we need to manage that. And this is going to be an ongoing um, transformation that us as a state, as a country, and as a world need to go through. And so it's most important that what we do is um, stay well and stay connected through that, because I think that's the only way we keep up the momentum and growth to do so. And it's just a better model than this extractive way of doing things. And then I will share some ongoings and projects at the end. But really just putting out that link, and I can even throw it here in the agenda. Um, Sign the pledge. I think that's the biggest thing is um, here in Colorado. Uh, if you live anywhere here in Colorado and are registered to vote, you can sign the pledge for a safe and healthy co.org, safe and healthy Colorado.org, but with the co. Um, to sign the pledge and sign up you or your organization to endorse. This will be something that over the next year and a half is just going to pick up in terms of it being discussed, and be ready in the early of next year for the actual signing. It has to happen within a few month period, and then 2024 November elections, it will be something that the state as a whole decides. So get ready for attack ads galore and fake facts from fossil fuel companies and skewing of truth through um, invisible dark organizations with PACs. It's gonna happen. Um, we just have to hope that the people power side of the equation, between that and the growth of leaders and the use of technology, we can overcome those trials, and I believe we can, and move forward these changes. And as we get wins, the energy and excitement will only improve, I believe, as we see what is possible and talk to people about the issues and worries that they are facing. Um, so, on some levels, the national stuff I find to be overwhelming, so I focus more on that Colorado perspective. But that's not to say that other parts of our country aren't doing amazing, exciting things, and I love to see that. And thank you to all the organizers that this weekend put things together. The continued push to show up to have our futures and our needs met. And here's to continuing that progress. Okay, let me youth gov. Just so that we're on time. I think it's youth. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So, exciting news that only come out. Breaking news. When did the news get broke? So, a week. So, this is fresh news about climate action here in the US. If you haven't heard about this before, Juliana versus United States, it's a group of a dozen plus young people who years ago, nearly 8 years, saw the government's inaction to face and move forward a more fair climate future, and young people especially, they're facing not being able to raise families and live lives similar to previous generations, and having to undergo a lot more difficulty and trauma if we don't change things. And so, as Americans, we have the right to um, pursue happiness and freedom. Was it life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? And the argument here is we can't really have that if we don't have a climate future. And so we want the judicial system to tell some of our other branches that this is a protected right and something that we need to change. It, for many years, has been juggled around the court system, and people have tried to just shrug it off through a number of different legal tactics. Sometimes not, or it's like our own government officials who are, arguing on the state of the United States and using different tricks to move and avoid this. But it's going to trial. It's happening in Montana. Or is this a different trial? Let's see. Read the press release. Judge rules in favor of Juliana v. United States. Youth plaintiffs. Children's constitutional climate case can proceed to trial. Today, less than 2 weeks before the first ever constitutional climate trail in U.S. history is slated to begin in Montana, U.S. District Court Judge Ann Aiken ruled that the youth plaintiffs in the landmark children's climate case against the United States government, Juliana v. United States, can amend their complaint and have their evidence heard in open court. Earlier the year, the court also denied 18 Republican Attorney Generals' requests to intervene as defendants in the case, but kept the door open for them to refile their motion. This long-awaited ruling puts the youth plaintiffs back on track for a trial that had been pulled out from under them by the Chief Justice on the U.S. Supreme Court days before it was to begin in October of 2018. Judge Aiken wrote in her decision, "It is a foundational doctrine that when government conduct catastrophically harms American citizens, the judiciary is constitutionally required to perform its independent role and determine whether the challenged conduct, not exclusively committed to any branch by the Constitution, is unconstitutional. Plaintiffs intend to seek a prompt trial date so that they and their experts can finally present their evidence of the government's active infringement of their constitutional right. The 21 youth plaintiffs who have faced incessant and unprecedented efforts by the U.S. Department of Justice to delay or dismiss this case will finally be able to move forward on the question of whether the federal government's fossil fuel-based energy system and resulting climate destabilization is unconstitutional. This latest court ruling in Juliana now sits on the desk of Attorney General Merrick Garland, who has an important choice to make. The U.S. Department of Justice can either extend the legacy of the Trump administration's DOJ by continuing to employ extreme tactics to delay, deny, and oppose these youth rights to have their evidence heard at trial, or they can seek to restore the reputation of the DOJ by accepting today's ruling and preparing to defend their case based on the evidence." Okay. I don't want to destroy my voice. So if you want to read the rest. So these are different cases. I had these mixed up earlier. This one is coming down the docket if our Democratic Attorney General, it's not Attorney General, is it? Yeah, Attorney General Merrick Garland, Democrat, can do different tactics to move things around, but right now it's set to be heard publicly. Um, Similarly, the biggest trial about this of this type, um, held versus state of Montana, starts tomorrow. So tune in at this MT Climate Trial Bitly link, um, to see one of these cases, and I am hopeful that this picks up more in the media. We'll. Oh, my camera went off. It is toasty. Let's do this again. Hey. And I need to move here. Yeah, it's HD camera, and I think the room temperature does affect it, but you can still hear me. So, la-di dotty, and then okay. I don't know why it's small. Maybe I do this. LOL. Okay. Whatever's clever. We're almost done. Okay, what else is on our agenda? So we have this thing. Like and subscribe. Youth v Gov, Active Hope, share ongoings and projects. Okay. Some of these topics are heavy. Climate crisis, a future of our planet, the health and well-being of our communities and communities around the world. And there's an element to this where it's easy to get cynical. And I think a lot of people kind of end up heading that direction and focusing on a lot more of what like they can control, because some of these bigger picture things can be overwhelming. I think sometimes then it's best to boil it down to the more local aspect of things, and looking for, at the very least, a community in this work that shares some of your concerns, shares some of your values, and you're able to feel seen and heard, and that your voice matters. From there, what you and that community do, there's a lot of different ways it can go, from putting together actions to get out the word about a ballot initiative, getting people to sign a pledge, putting on a donation drive or a food drive. But having that hope and holding on to the fact that there's many positive change makers out there doing the work as well, and that a great upwelling can occur where people awake and get a bit more involved in voting a certain way and prioritizing things in primaries and legislative sessions, that things do change. And we've seen in a number of different things that things can change quickly. Sometimes, though, there's just a lot of effort and work that goes into it before those moments of large visibility and seeing the labors of that work. And right now it's ongoing. We're in this pivotal time in history where we know that what we're doing is affecting the planet and our futures. So what are we going to do about it, and how are we going to show up as a state and a country? What are we going to prioritize? So who knows? Who knows? I want to turn this back on. Ooh. And then I gotta. What's this? I wonder if there's a setting I can do that stops the camera from overheating as much, and then I don't have to like mess with the settings. Okay. And then this. Okay, let's see. Is there any shout outs that I want to make this moment? I am working on my business model, creating more positive impact media, being in frame, and showcasing the awesome things people are doing to make positive change. Safeandhealthyco.org is where you can go to sign the pledge if you're living here in Colorado. Nationally, you can reach out to your legislator, tell them that you don't support further fossil fuel infrastructure, against pipelines. And I would say look for different community organizations in your state. There are a number of different ways to plug in, ways to start chipping away at a better climate future. We didn't get too much into what a fair transition could look like. We do have 10 minutes left. But the biggest part, let's go file new. Let's go new diagram. I just want it here. Diagram. Okay. Blank. Create. So, this is the year. It's 2023. And in the future, it is the far future. The far future. And on the path there, we have a few pinpoint moments that get thrown around. Some of the ones we talked about today is 2030. We have the rest of this decade. We have 2050 that's thrown around. And then we have the far future. And the context of this all is we have our planet. That's a great circle. Let's just fill that in. Can I make this bigger? Brush. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful art. And then on that, we have this is our planet. This part's not important to talk about the transition. We don't need to be drawing this much, but we are. Okay. Beautiful. Can I select this? No, it's just there. Perfect. And from here, what our planet looks like in the future is based about what we do. Our future and our future climate is up to us. Is up to us. So we are here. And what do we value? Do we value? I would say clean, livable climate, ecosystems, flourishing nature, water, air, flourishing and clean nature, water, air. That no one is excluded from these values. That we act to center marginalized communities and act proactively. These are things I think we value. And so a fair transition, so there's ways to transition. There are ways to transition. You can wait till it's really bad. Don't advise this. I don't advise this. Longer we wait, more expensive it costs in multiple ways. The other ways we can transition is there a middle one between this and a fair transition? I'm not entirely sure. Probably like a slow paced transition. Through divided system. If stakeholders do not come together, change will be slow. Stakeholders do not come together, change will be slow, and changes will be slow, and certain people will get left behind. The best method I can think of to transition, though, is a fair and quick transition. Sometimes people say like just transition, as in like a justice-based one. And this transition looks like bringing workers, citizens, and scientists together, prioritizing what people need and creating jobs to begin phasing out fossil fuels and creating jobs to begin phasing out reliance on fossil fuels quicker and helping lead on a better climate and safe future. And so we're at this let me get that in frame. Become smaller. Nope. Become wider. There you go. And so this is kind of the conundrum when it comes to ending the era of fossil fuels. What do we value? How do we want to transition? And who are the people and leaders who can help institutionalize and fight for some of these changes at the government level? There are things businesses and innovators can do outside of government, and that is awesome. However, it's we gotta like look inward on what kind of country, what do we want to support, how do we want to show up, and what kind of future do we want to leave our future generations. Some plans have us waiting till 2050. XL likes to talk about how this 2050 goal, and I just often think it's just not quick enough. There's some things to be said about the last mile on farms in winter storms. Might they need to turn on a fuel power source to get through a winter storm? Circumstances like that might take us a long time to 100% transition away from. In the meantime, though, there's a lot we can do. We can be doing more with electric vehicles. We can be moving subsidies to those fields and energy structure. We can be updating our grid, putting down at the same time fiber internet. We can be bringing green, planting trees, regenerative farms. We can be building solar on-farm infrastructure, bringing energy production to wider areas, and we can be changing the narrative of what is possible. This is kind of, I think, our generation's moonshot. How do we change people's minds and get them on board to believe in this greener, more regenerative, more fair vision? And I understand that it's hard right now. There's a lot of economic struggles that is tied in. Part of that, the system is built that way. It's harder to be engaged when you are living in stress. And when you're living through trauma and climate disasters, and this system that doesn't even guarantee health care. I understand that. And I think at the same time, we can come together, build each other up, and lift up leaders into positions that can work on this issue as well as many others. And so our future climate is up to us. Um, let us lead, um, because Colorado is awesome. And I think um, colors are awesome, and um, people want things to change and improve. I have a little bit, gotta fix that. Um, and one of the ways you can do this is getting involved with a climate organization like 350 Colorado. There are many others, and this safe and healthyco.org is where you can sign a pledge and learn about other organizations, and take action, learn how you can take action, learn how you can help, learn about this issue. Thanks everyone who dropped in live, who is and so this is kind of the conundrum when it comes to ending the era of fossil fuels. Um, what do we value? How do we want to transition? Did I accidentally click on that? I am so confused. Oh, it says it works here. Oh, okay. Weird. Okay. I'm learning about streaming still, but thank you all for being here. I'm tuning out. I will chop this up into little clips later. Have a great week, everyone. I follow me at Community Driven Group on Instagram. You here on YouTube, I'm at Community Driven. Looking to put together a more consistent schedule of streams and what else I can do in the positive impact media space. This was a fun exercise in getting to see some of the events put together by others, celebrate and look at this issue. And yeah, a lot of my attention's here because of what it means for like this amazingly beautiful planet and protecting it. So cheers to an ongoing push to do that and all the amazing people bring positivity into the world in their own ways. from big to small. So, have a good rest of June. Happy Pride. Take care and see you around.